Hey guys, I'm Levi Gates and welcome to DETALKS. And with me today in the studio, Mr. Dan Williams of Optimum Polymer Technologies. Welcome, Dan.
Thank you very much.
And Mr. Ivan LaCroix of Optimum Polymer Technologies. Welcome, my brother.
Always a pleasure.
So, this is going to be a fun one. We're going to talk about kids these days.
Yeah.
And kids, meaning newbie detailers, greenhorns,
the people that
green
have
beans as they call it, or, you know.
Well, the people that have come into this industry now versus those of us that have been in the industry 15, 20, 30 years, what has changed, what has evolved, how their life is so much easier than ours was.
Yeah. Yeah, the main thing is you guys have so much more access to technology. So much more. Information, not only technology, but information. You've got the groups, the forums, YouTube channels, podcasts, everything that when I started detailing, I had a guy in a garage that had been doing it maybe 5 years longer than when I started. Yeah. And he was like, man, let's show you how to buff and all you can do this. And then I go, what kind of product is that? And all we had in the garage was the products that I ever knew existed. I was like, wow, this is great, I didn't know. And then I'd have a guy in a truck that would pull up and sell me products and chemicals. And I was like, whoa, look at all these amazing things.
Yeah.
Do you have something for this or something for that? But that was my only outlet. I didn't have forums. I didn't have websites. I remember I had a Brioche catalog that my uncle had gotten, and I was like, "What is this? This is a magazine with products and stuff in it for detailing? Where did this come from?"
Yeah.
And I still didn't know where he got it from, but it was something where I was like, wow, "There's a bigger world out there," but it took a long time, and it wasn't until I started my own shop that I started, gathering that information and trying to find it and get it all and use it.
Yeah, well, Dan and I first met in the early 2000s on a forum called MobileWorks, which doesn't exist anymore. And there's maybe 100 members on there at most, and most of those people are not around anymore in the industry. There's maybe 10 of us that are still around. But nonetheless, that was one of my first forays into electronic information. And it was a game changer. Because now you had people from all over the world on this forum and different ideas and different methods and people sharing information. But before, like you said, we were locked. Everybody was locked into their own little corner, and the new products you saw were what the truck brought around, or when you went to a store and they had a small selection. You went to the auto parts store and they had half a shelf of detailing supplies.
Yeah, new type of wax.
I would dive into that MobileWorks and just spend hours doing research and reading.
Yeah.
And when I started my detailing business, the biggest hurdle I had to cross to do it, I had to get a cell phone, and I just was like, what if I don't want a cell phone and I have to sign a 2-year contract? I don't think I want one of these. Like, I'm old school. If people need to get a hold of me, they can call me at the house.
Right.
And now I can't imagine. That's huge. Customers can get a hold of you anytime, anywhere. How did people even do business before that?
Yeah, I remember the little detail shop that I worked in when I was 18, and they had a phone in the back, and that was the number people called, and and it was a rotary, and you just spin it, and you'd get the phone call.
By the way, rotary phones.
Rotary phone, not like
those are the ones that they have the 10 numbers, and you.
But we had one of those.
A lot of people have probably never seen one.
Yep. We had one of those hanging up. It was peach or nude colored. I remember it was skin tone, and I remember nobody was allowed to make a call on it. We had to go because I worked at a car wash, we had to go into the car wash to make a phone call because you didn't have a cell phone or anything like that.
And in case the customer was trying to call.
Yeah, and the customer needed to call in.
You just beep, beep,
beep. But you couldn't, and they didn't have call waiting on it, but you couldn't make calls on it, and you couldn't, if you took a call and it wasn't a customer, you had to tell them that you couldn't talk to them and leave. And I remember walking in on the head detailer at the time, and he was back there sitting on the counter, lounging, smoking a cigarette, talking to his girlfriend, and he was like, and he got down and he's like, well, we can do a hand wax for this and that, and I remember going like, I'm pretty sure he was on the phone with his girlfriend. girlfriend just now. And
Or a really, really good customer.
Right, yeah. So, but I remember like it's just funny to think. I felt like I was just in that little one-bay shop in that shop. That was my detailing world. I didn't have anything outside of it other than cleaning my parents' cars or waiting for the truck to come on
Think of
Monday
the mobile
morning.
guy. He had to pull over the payphone.
Yeah, you're making phone calls with it.
Oh, we had pagers.
Yep.
Hey.
Yeah. Got paged. Yeah.
I used to have a pager back when I was a wild man. My girlfriend got it for me so she could kind of track me down. It's so funny. You have to go to the payphone.
Yeah.
Got their own code to put in so you knew it was them messaging you.
What a mess.
Yeah. But yeah, no. Nowadays, detailers, even starting out, have so much information. They have YouTube to go to. If we wanted to learn a new skill, we had to learn a new skill. We had to teach it to ourselves.
Either you had to teach it to yourself, or you had to find somebody that knew how to do it. Or I would get with my jobber, the guy that had the truck, and he would say, "I got this new product. Do you want to test it with me?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "Yes, please."
Exactly.
Because that was the only way I could get more information and try and learn. And
yeah.
I remember there was nights where it's just me and him at his house. So I'd go over to his house and polish in his garage, and But now, you can Google. You can just Google the process. You can see a video someone has posted on it.
How many videos are there on O&R?
Yeah.
It's incredible.
In another sense, you would get a more pure opinion of a product without being tainted by so many opinions that you're, beaten down
bombarded with.
Yeah.
You had to make that choice for yourself almost.
Yeah. Exactly.
Beforehand.
So the young guys out there, the ones that still have hair, well, Levi, he still has hair, but the younger guys out there, you've got it good compared to what we had to do. It was a simpler time. We didn't have Facebook. We didn't have instant messages. We didn't have emails. We didn't have computers. When I started, we had the phone on the wall, and that was it.
Yeah.
And we actually wrote mail, sent letters.
Yep.
We ordered stuff by mail. Things have changed so much technology-wise and information-wise, but product-wise, wow.
Yeah.
What a change. I haven't used soap in 10 years.
Yeah, that's one thing that is really amazing. It was one thing that was hard for me to get on board with, but once I did, I was like, why didn't I do this sooner?
Dan is the
same way.
I became a distributor for Optimum before all this, and I sold Optimum No Rinse for about a year before I would start using it myself. And then once I did, pressure washer came out of the van, and I had no looking back.
Yeah.
The compounds have evolved immensely. We have the Hyper system. It's in a spray. I mean, who would have thought of that 10 years ago?
Yeah. And then the equipment, the polishers, and being easier to use and lighter, and they're not those big hit. Like my dad used to have a big old Milwaukee rotary. One speed. And I remember picking it up when I was like 17 and going and he was like, someday you can learn how to use that if you want. And I was like, I'm not ever I don't want to use that. That's a big machine.
Or the gem.
I don't remember the gem.
You don't remember the gem? Oh, you could get it in the 16 pound or the 20 pound.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. The 20 pound was great for doing a hood because you just
rested it on there
but doing the sides, you wanted the 16 pound if you had the 20 pound.
Yeah.
But the gem polisher, which was basically just a big vibrator. And the one thing that has really changed professional detailing is coatings.
I was just thinking that exact thing.
Well, it changed the level of what we could charge, the correction level, and then coating after that, and it changed it from us kind of being backcountry garage cleaners to a higher end commodity, so to speak.
It's professionalized the industry. Because we had one person at a training once, and the first day of the training, I don't think he said 2 words. And then the second day of the training, he's all of a sudden blurts out, "I'd like to thank Dr. G for paying for my boat, my RV, and my house."
Yeah.
Before coatings, before Optical Pro, I would do polish and wax for $150, maybe $200. Now in the same amount of time, I'm doing Optical Pro, and I'm getting $1,000.
Yeah.
He says, but now it's elevated my business to a point where it is a business.
Yeah. And he makes a good living at it.
Right. And instead of having a funky old little garage, now I have a business, and I have lighting, and I have a reception area, and I have a receptionist, and I have employees, and all because of a coating. So I've been in the industry over 30 years, and the first 20 years of that, it changed slowly, but in the last 10 years, it's skyrocketed. The one thing that's changed the industry a lot as well is the dual action polisher. I'm in part at fault for that. The Porter Cable, I used to work in research and development at Porter Cable, so I'm behind the original Porter Cable, and I excuse myself for that. I've never owned one. I don't like it. It vibrates too much. But nonetheless, the dual action polisher has equalized the playing field a little bit. It doesn't take a year or two of apprenticeship to learn how to finish with a rotary. And now with the new compounds and the new polishing systems, again, finishing with the rotary isn't as hard as it once was. With the hyper paint correction system, I can teach someone to finish a rotary in less than a day. It definitely revolutionized the way I trained employees.
Before it was, I remember it was just a long process of trying to get guys to learn the rotary, handle the rotary, build their muscles and their muscle memory. And then when the dual actions came out, it was literally, here you go. Here's what you're going to show. I'm going to show you this, this, this. And they're like, oh. And then it was just trying to fine tune. If they didn't get too close to this edge, they needed to hit here, they didn't correct this spot. But that was way easier, and I'd have someone fairly decently trained within, they know how to use the machine in a day, but they were basically doing pretty decent corrections within a month. And before it was 1-2 years before you got a guy that could really know his way around the rotary, without hurting himself. Because I always had those guys.
The cord whip.
The cord, or they'd grab their headphones, or I had one guy get his hoodie caught, like it caught and wrapped up, and he was like in a corner trying to fight it.
Just let go of the trigger.
I was just like, let go, man. And then I heard a story about another guy who was on one side and got his shirt, he had a raggedy shirt. Another reason to stay professional looking. He had a very holey shirt, and it caught and yanked it, completely ripped the shirt right off of him while he was sitting there buffing a hood.
He did a Chippendales.
It just yanked it right off of him.
That would look pretty cool, actually.
But I just remember trying before they felt comfortable enough. It did take a while to get guys there, and with the dual actions, you don't have to worry about that anymore.
No, exactly.
And they're lighter and easier to use. They don't beat you up.
And what has the microfiber towel done for the
countless things. You're able to
we'll back up a little bit. We had the cotton towels. Before that, and then
baby diapers.
That was like the ultimate. Oh, you have baby diapers. You are the top of the world.
I remember going to the auto parts store and looking at a bag of baby diapers going like, I'm going to buy me a bag, and they're going to be my towels for myself, and I'll take them to work, because the place I worked at didn't do that. They had terries that...
cotton terries.
Cotton terries. They were washed thousands of times, and they were rough, and I remember just messing up paint after I'd polished it to clean the wax off and compound.
And then cheesecloth.
Cheesecloth, I remember cheesecloth.
Evolution. And then the microfiber.
When I first touched one, I was like a little sticky, but it grabbed everything off and made it simple. And then I used normal, simple microfibers, Costco towels for a long time, until I found a higher end microfiber. And then when I did that, it was like the clouds parted, doves. It was like, what? I didn't know there was another level of towel that you could get to. And once you get into that, it was a game changer. So there's a lot of neat stuff and more stuff that's going to be coming out. I can't even imagine the stuff that we'll have in another 5-10 years.
We know a few things that are coming down the road in terms of microfiber. You introduced us to that, and a few things coming down the road chemical wise. And the companies that invest in research and development, like the rag company, like Optimum, they're making everybody's job easier. And research and development, at both companies is extremely important. It's part of our corporate culture. The products are always advancing, they're always changing, they're always getting better.
Yeah.
So.
Well, thanks guys for sharing some knowledge, and just remember, you guys have it pretty easy.
Yeah.
If you're just starting out, it's not hard. You can watch DETALKS, you can subscribe to the Optimum Synergy podcast, you can sign up for other podcasts, you can sign up for other videos, you can sign up for training classes, you can attend sessions, you can come to this weekend. We're actually hosting it right now. We're shooting this. We're going to be hosting classes here at the Rag Company as well. So there's.
It's funny, we're talking about it, all the advances, and you just said all of these things, and the one that didn't get said was you can read a book, because
you can read a book.
So old, you know.
There are books. You can get lots of books. Mike Phillips, Rennie Doyle, all those guys write books on subjects, and they're great to have in your arsenal. It's all education, and that's all it is trying to further and put some wrinkles in your brain.
There's magazines as well.
There's magazines. There's
trade papers.
All kinds of stuff. So try and stay informed, stay abreast to all that. And thanks guys for coming. Leave your comments and suggestions below. Subscribe to us. Subscribe to the Optimum Synergy podcast. And as always, stay tuned for more videos right here on the Rag Company YouTube channel. Thanks for watching.